Flagler had had enough of the oil business. He wanted to spend his time in the sun, and so he built the breakers right next to his railroad here in Florida. The Breakers is a historic Renaissance Revival hotel that was designed to rival the great European palaces. And it quickly attracted presidents, movie stars, and captains of industry. He called it the Breakers because guests requested rooms that looked out on the ocean as the waves broke against the beach. The hotel's architecture was inspired by the Villa Medici in Rome. The idea was to call to mind the grandeur of a 16th century Italian palace, with hand-painted ceilings, elaborate frescoes, and grand ballrooms. The property is listed in the National Registry of Historic Places. It has 140 acres and 2,400 employees. It's not well known, but I am also listed in the National Registry of Historic Places. Over time, more grand hotels and resorts were built along the shores of the Palm Beaches, cementing the area's reputation for hospitality. If you want to get a good idea of what Flagler had in mind for a winter vacation, the Flagler Club is the place to visit. It takes up the top 2 floors of the Breakers, and it's quite literally a hotel within a hotel. To learn more about Flagler's vision and how it remains to this day, I spoke with Jessica Regan, the general manager of the Flagler Club.
So the Breakers is a world-class resort. We have tennis and spa facilities, golfing, the pools, bungalows. There's so many different things, 10 different restaurants. But Flagler Club sort of gives the chance to get away from all of that if you want a little bit of that exclusivity. We have families that want to stay in the main hotel, and then parts of the families that want to stay up on Flagler just to have a little bit of that reprieve and privacy. Flagler was quite a character, as I understand. How are you honoring his history? The way that we sort of envision Henry Flagler is he was the consummate host, and we built Flagler Club to really be like an extension of your living room, a very comfortable atmosphere to either socialize with other guests or relax on your own. But it gives that feeling as if you're at home. So that's what we really try to honor. Tell me about the design of the place. We incorporated Tahani design. We've worked with him for many years. He's done several different things around the property, and we challenged him to really bring the classic Palm Beach and intertwine it with like a European Riviera. It's really like almost the feel of a luxurious yacht. And we've incorporated things that the guests have brought in with them. For example, something that we found that a guest had left behind was a beautiful hanger. So this is actually our signature suite that we just created during the last renovation. Very beautiful. Look at the view. Oh, look at that. Water, beach, yes, waves. And we have several different amenities. You just walk past our dessert here, which is personalized for the guest. We have the frette linens and robes and slippers. We have L'Occitane in the bathroom for their bath amenities, a Dyson hairdryer, and an adjustable bed. It's made by Prana Sleep, and it is adjustable, so the guests really enjoy that. Adjustable how? Up, down? Up, down, legs, head, everything, yes. So the closets were really designed to make a guest just feel right at home, so allow me to show you. Oh, quite beautiful. Wow, very fancy hangers. So if I put something on there, I can consider it a hangers-on. Yes. That's a terrible joke. But for me, the most luxurious element was the introduction of 2 bathrooms in each suite, so that 2 people could bathe at the same time and be ready to go down to dinner together. Not that that has ever happened to me, but in theory, it's a good idea. An essential aspect to any high-class resort
is a restaurant or selection of restaurants that your guests can dine at without leaving the property. A really good restaurant is essential for a resort, and my son Nicholas has been researching the subject. Nicholas, tell me what's going on.
Restaurants and resorts came along to offer the guests staying there a taste of the local cuisine they were visiting. The idea of being able to try different cuisines in your hometown is fairly new. Back in the day, you could really only get a taste of a new cuisine if you traveled there, and that's where resort restaurants came into play. Here in South Florida, the local cuisine is seafood, and the Breakers is known for its top-tier seafood bar. Chef Anthony has been working at the Breakers for longer than I've been alive, and is the executive chef of all 10 restaurants at the Breakers. All right, Anthony, we're in the seafood bar today, so I guess we're gonna cook some fish.
We're gonna cook some fish. We have some delicious swordfish caught right off our coast. We're gonna do a little different preparation for swordfish. We're gonna do this Milanese style.
Okay.
Typically, you would see that with a chicken or a veal.
Yeah.
It's a pretty simple procedure here.
So we're heating up some oil
We
right
have some
now.
clarified butter, and we're gonna do a basic breading procedure. So it's really just, we have flour, we have egg, and we have some panko breadcrumb that's been sauteed with a little bit of butter. And then when it's cooled, we add some Parmesan cheese.
So there's Parmesan in there.
There's
that
a
we're
little bit
gonna
of Parmesan in here too, yeah. So I'm just gonna season everything up just a little bit. What we like to do is evenly season all components of every dish. So this way, not one component is more salted than the other. We do a dusting of the flour, and really that's what's gonna have this egg mixture adhere. You don't want it too cakey.
You know, with veal or chicken, you're usually supposed to pound it, you know, make it
Yeah,
really thin.
yeah.
But I don't think you can do that with fish.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to. The idea is you want it to be succulent and moist. With swordfish in particular, if it's cut too thin, it's gonna cook too much, and it'll get dry on you. You don't want the oil too hot. It'll burn quickly.
Burn the panko crust.
It'll burn the panko crust, so let's
Yeah,
see what we...
How are you gauging the temperature here? It's pretty tricky.
I'm listening to it and I'm looking at it. So I just want to move it enough so now I see it's not sticking. So we're looking for a nice golden.
And is the
golden
cheese gonna
brown.
melt there, or what's gonna happen?
It doesn't. It's gonna melt. The Parmesan, actually, when you heat it up, it doesn't really. It'll melt a little bit, but then it really turns into a crust. So I'm gonna give this a careful flip.
Chef, so while this is cooking, you're executive chef at 10 restaurants. Now, if anyone knows the restaurant industry, that's a lot. Tell me how that works.
You know, people ask me this all the time. How do you do that? And it's pretty simple. It's a very simple equation. We have an incredibly talented team. And each restaurant has a chef that's in charge of the restaurant. Chefs that we have here started here as cooks and have been with us for years and years and years. And that affords us the capabilities of just getting better year over year. So it's about integrity, respect, and really doing everything as a team.
I realized because while making this documentary, everyone we spoke to has been here for many, many years.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
Yeah, it's very unique for our industry.
So we're right on the ocean, as
Yes.
you can tell, and this is a seafood restaurant. So talk to me about that.
It's really interesting. You know, we have the Gulf Stream right off our shore. We're getting fish within a day out of the water, but during certain times of the year, the fish is caught that morning and we have it on our menu that afternoon. So
That's
swordfish is
fabulous.
right off our coast, you know, from here down to the Keys. Pompano is starting to run now, where they're catching them just off the beach a little bit north of us, and we're getting those in. And we try to really focus on seafood that is as local as possible. On this menu, we have a catch of the day, and that really focuses in on those local fish. All right, so as we're getting ready to plate, I'm gonna carefully remove this. So this is always a little bit of the tricky part. I could tell that my Milanese here was a success because there's no burnt crumbs in the pan. All right, so I'm gonna add one more component now. I have some heirloom carrots.
And those are sauteed beforehand?
So these were sauteed beforehand. So I'm gonna take a lemon, and I'm gonna brulee the lemon in a hot pan.
That smells good.
Yeah, it sure does. Nothing like the smell of butter in the morning. Yep. And then we'll add a couple of our carrots here. Quick little sear. Okay, so we have our nicely cooked fish. So it's very simple. We're just gonna make a little salad. We're gonna take some of our arugula, and we're gonna toss it with some of our tomatoes.
Cherry tomatoes.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna throw a couple of the carrots right in here as well. A little bit of olive oil.
Making salad look really tasty.
So we always try to add just a little bit of a component that might be a little bit different, but not too confusing or over the top, and that's kind of where the heirloom carrots came into this dish. Tiny bit of salt, and just a little bit of pepper.
Okay, mix that up.
Give this a little, we want it to be nicely dressed, and we're just gonna put this salad right on top of this fish.
Looks very appetizing.
Simply done. We're gonna take our bruleed lemon, which also will add a nice little touch, like lemon with your fish.
And some more
And just a
Parmesan, yeah.
touch of Parmesan. Okay, here's our swordfish Milanese.
Look at that. Beautiful, chef. So tell me, what's the way to do this? Am I gonna go salad with the fish?
I think you get a little bit in each bite.
All
That's
right,
probably
let's
the best
try
way to
this.
do it.
Little piece here. Wow. My mind is being fooled because I'm thinking chicken or veal with the Milanese style, but then the swordfish comes in, and that is beautiful with the beautiful Parmesan. I like that with the salad.
It's a great combination.
7:30 in the morning, you know, looking out at that, eating
Sun's
this for
coming up,
breakfast.
swordfish for breakfast. Not a bad start to the day.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have a nice day.